Good morning, it's the 20th of August 2025, just a short video to recap on some actions, decisions and a trade that I took this morning. So I'm going to keep this brief. It was about how long that I took. I did engage with Mocha, but that's not the purpose of this particular video. Here, this was more around a discretionary trade based upon the data that I could plug into Omni following 7:30 a.m. this morning. Right, okay, so let's get to it, right? So here's our Asia range. We can see we break the range there to the downside. That's a short direction, and up until 7:30 we do not break back to the upside. Therefore, that is a short true. I've already plugged that into the database here, right? So I can speed things up a little bit. So just to recap that, okay, we broke into a short direction. We did not take the other side, therefore short true. Now at 7:30 is where I put that into the database, where I'm going to make these selections here and here. I've already done it, as you can see. So I'm now watching, right? We can see is a 75% chance of the Asia mid, which I've marked on the chart there, of that going, which is pretty decent. However, you know, am I looking at that there? No, I'm not. I have a way of playing the mid trade, right? And that is not within scope of this particular video. I have a very excuse me, specific strategy for doing that. Like, anyway, okay, so we have the London Open, 2:30 open here. I know that's not the open, but for the purposes of the way I record my data and the way I built this framework, it is. So it's not the open of the market, it's just the open of this particular range, all right? Okay, so we can see what price is doing. Now, I want everyone to look right here at this candle, right? We have a positive candle, negative candle, negative candle. The 245 is negative, and it comes back down below the Asia low. What that means is that I can select that. Oh dear. I can make this selection inside the database, right there, to say that event, it's an event, it's something that has happened, right? And it's just happened. So I can make that selection in real time, right? So yes, it's true now that my mid here has come down to 58%, right? And that actually, and obviously this is the case here, and that we have a 47% chance of the Asia high. We can see that we're firmly in red territory, and this is what encouraged me to take the short trade off. It doesn't matter, off my, this was my losing trade this morning, right? The short, which was a losing trade. So okay, but I'm still watching price, right? Now take note of this particular data point here, right, which is the opening range for London, its colour, whether it's going to be a red candle or a green candle, right? Okay, you know, think of that hourly candle starting from 7:30, which would obviously run to 8:29. I think of that as a candle, and the bet is, or not the bet, the probability is quite significantly is that that's going to be a red candle by 65 to 35, 2 in every 3, right? Which is interesting, which means basically I have a potential trade short, which is the short trade that I took off my strategy, which ended up being a loser. But hey ho, it happens, right? So that once that trade was a losing trade, right? Was it a losing trade because was it down to me? Well, it wasn't. I thought my execution was pretty good. And my stop and everything else. Was it just because it wasn't my day? Well, very possibly. Or was it potentially because something else might be going on, right? And you know, I think this will become apparent a little bit, or become apparent next, right? So we can see the 65 to 35. Now what's important, right, is that obviously time passes, and as we come in along into the end of this opening range, right, we have this wonderful candle here, and then we have the close on the next 5-minute candle at 7:29 and 59 seconds, right? And as we can see, if we open there and we close there, this is doji like, yes, but it's green. it's a green candle, right? So thinking of this binary red or green, it's green, so it's not red, right? This data point here. So let's just have a look at what happens here, right? And we shift significantly now, all right? Okay, we can see, first of all, that we are, 75% long and 81% of that mid being taken. So, this is 75% and this is 81%. I know that's a little bit arse backwards, but we have to think of the way these structures are formed, okay? So I'm just thinking of it in terms of probability. So instantly, actually one final point before I carry on is this candle here. I like that candle. Some might say that actually that's a bearish candle, but I think in the situation that was developing there, I'm not so sure. I think it was a, damn it, it's doing that again. I think that was setting up to go long, but that's just me. So I'm immediately looking long here, right? And any kind of pullback into this, right, below the open, I'm a buyer. And I'm initially targeting this mid, and I'm looking at these targets up here. Suffice to say that the trade played out beautifully, and that that was my approach to, or that was the way I read the data this morning. It triggered, as I say, and it gave me a reason to go long. Where did I execute? Well, I executed below the open, right, which was under here. I quite possibly maybe oversized a little bit on the trade, but that again, I think I had my reasons. I was obviously very confident of long, and equally as confident of the E's high. I had three really good probabilities on my side. So the last thing I'm going to do is mark roughly what it was. So it was in here somewhere, something like that. My stop would have been under the mid there, and I think I posted it on Twitter at the time. That was or around here I had an exit, and around here I had an exit. And my last 10% of my position was getting stopped out on trailing, right? So, which is here, I think. Anyway, if there's any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you've got any, or reach out to me on Twitter. And yeah, okay, thank you very much. Bye bye.